be a little bit different for me because I'm gonna be talking about something that I haven't really talked about that much here on this channel. I do beauty and makeup on this channel. Sometimes I do some other things, but I don't really talk that much about my former life. I've done like one video where I talked about the fact that one of my former modeling pictures literally is a meme. If I can remember, I'll put the thumbnail here somewhere. You can go look for it. But today we are going to talk about the fact I made an order from IDUN Minerals, which is a Swedish clean, you know, we're team science over here. I don't love the term clean, but I can tell you how IDUN Minerals started. It is a Swedish clean mineral makeup brand. Again, I'm using clean like this, that is based in Sweden, and the product, if I'm not totally mistaken, are also made in Sweden, and it just launched in the US. And why I mentioned my modeling career is that when IDUN Minerals started, way back, long before I was doing makeup YouTube, I was at the time freelancing as a makeup artist. I used to work as a model, and I was actually the first model for IDUN Minerals when they launched in Sweden. And I have some of the material here with me. I have it here with me. That's me back when I was like a little bit of a ginger, and also how long ago is this? 20 years ago? I don't even know. But we're going to be trying some of these products out. I'm going to be showing you some of these things. We'll talk a little bit about these pictures. We'll talk a little bit about IDUN Minerals, and we'll talk a little bit about the fact that they're now have launched in the US. They're now available at Nordstrom. I will link them down below. Honestly, almost the full range is available, and I did order, like you saw, almost a full face of IDUN Minerals. So I thought, let's jump in and let's do some makeup. I'm going to start with their new Hydra Soft Mineral Foundation. When IDUN Minerals launched, which was, like I said, quite a long time ago, they launched when powder mineral foundations were all the rage. I remember, you remember, Pepper Rich Farm remembers, and a lot of people were having some like reactions towards those, especially like, you know, Bare Minerals. That's a good shade. I got Siri Medium Neutral, which I think will be a good shade for me. I'm not going to use any kind of primer today. I'm just going to go in with this one. Like, just a quick like side note before I continue the story. IDUN Minerals is known for having very fair shades. So if you have a problem finding a shade and you're very fair, they do have nowadays, I know they haven't always, but they do have nowadays deep shades too, but they have been known for having really fair shades, and I have had that for a really long time, if that's something you are looking for. But they launched when those mineral foundations, especially from Bare Minerals, were all the rage, and you remember everybody was wearing those. This is actually really lovely, and everybody was wearing those, but some were having like allergic reactions or like negative reactions toward it. And one reason is that one mineral that was included in those mineral foundations that gave it, you know, that almost, some of them were almost sparkly, like they were low-key like a highlighter, is bismuth. And bismuth is a mineral that can be a little harsh on the skin, and a lot of people are sensitive towards it and can have a reaction. So how IDUN Minerals started is that they took away all of those minerals that people had negative reactions towards, such as bismuth, and they released a powder foundation, mineral foundation, that was more, and this is how they defined clean for them, that was more clean and therefore a little bit better for people with sensitive skin or people who just could not use those kind of mineral foundations. And I know the brand even got to use some kind of a sign or some kind of a symbol for the Swedish allergy foundation, or I don't remember exactly. I will put something here. I don't know if they use that like nowadays, but I know back in the day they got that one, and I think it was like the first makeup brand ever in Sweden to get that, because this makeup was really good for people with more sensitive skin. So keep that in mind as they are defining themselves as a clean brand, that at least they did come from something. You know, and I love the term clean. There is literally no definition to clean beauty, but I know at least what they... Oh my God, all the electricity literally died and I was sitting in the dark. So I don't really know where I was, but I decided to zoom in a little bit, and I was kind of done with foundation anyways. But I think what I was trying to say is that even though me personally, I don't like the term clean, I do actually know what IDUN Minerals had in mind when they started the brand and who they were for. Very like hypoallergenic makeup for sensitive skin. And I think that's what they've continued with. I will say I haven't like really kept up with the brand, but again, I at the time was not part of, I've never at any point been part of IDUN Minerals as a makeup artist or as a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok creator. I've only been working with IDUN Minerals as a model. So I don't know too much about their makeup. Of course, I've tried some. They gave me, of course, some when I was modeling. Like I got the whole like starter set at the time, but that was, like I said, like 15 years ago. So clearly I've used that one up. This is the Perfect Under Eye Concealer, and I got it in light. I do like a lighter under eye. I am still in my era where I prefer stuff like that. This brush is not clean, don't judge me. I am using the brushes. I didn't buy a full face simply because I really didn't need to, and also I bought the products that I was the most interested in. I will say one of the things that I think that IDUN Minerals could, this is what it looks like, that IDUN Minerals could work on is that there's swatches, and the swatches on like skin and the swatches on models and the product shots, they're in different like, I don't know if they're made by the same person. I don't know what's going on. Let me get a mirror because again, say it with me, I don't have a mirror, but they're all different colors. So like you will look at a lip liner, and in one picture it looks like a light red, in the next one it looks like a brown, and in the next one it looks like a dark pinky mauve, and you're like, so what is it? And that's like, I would say the biggest problem with the website is that I literally could not tell for the life of me the shade of anything, because all the pictures just showed different colors and different undertones, and I don't know what's going on. So this is light. I actually think that this looks really beautiful. I don't love a squeezy tube for a concealer, but I always use a brush anyways. I guess that's not really a problem. And I gotta say that looks really good. That looks really good. And I'm so excited that, again, little IDUN Minerals, a brand that I worked with a million years ago when they were launching, they launched at not even like we don't really have drugstores in Sweden. So they launched in Sweden exclusively at like an apothecary. That's how they started. And since they've become much bigger, they've launched in several different countries. Their website, I bought this from the website and it's shipped here to Italy. They are available on different platforms in Europe. You can buy them in so many different like stores. And now they launched at Nordstrom in the US. And I'm kind of proud of them, even though, clearly it's probably not even the same people working at the brand as when I worked with them, but I can't help but feel a little like almost proud of them. These lights are not pointing towards me. Hold. I don't know if that's better or worse, but here we are. I know one of the things that I did not buy was bronzer, simply because, again, I could not for the life of me pick out a shade of bronzer. They all looked too light or too dark or too red or too, like, I could not pick one out. And they also didn't really describe the bronzers. They just had names and then swatches. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna opt out and not buy a bronzer, because that's how hard I thought. And listen, this is my job. Like, I work with makeup. So the fact that I was not able to decipher the website tells me that maybe the website or the swatches or the pictures need a little work. It was not easy to figure out what shade anything was, or maybe they can at least just describe. I don't know. It was not easy, okay? I also didn't buy a powder because, quite honestly, I need a new powder like I need a hole in my head, okay? I have so many powders, and I also have quite a few powders that I really love, so I'm like, I can't right now, okay? I can't. So let me put on a little bit of a... I have a bronzer here. Actually, let me put on a little bit of the Say bronzer. I have been really enjoying this one. So I'll put a little bit of this on, and I will do my brows, and then we can do, because I have blush, and I have a blush stick, I have lippies, and I have a What do I have? Oh, eyeshadow. I didn't buy highlighter. I did my highlighter. That's very unlike me. Let's go in with blush, because I have two blushes here. I have the cream blushes. I'm pretty sure these are new. This is the soft tint blush stick, and I have it in the shade Dröm. So all of these names are, of course, Swedish. Dröm means dream in Swedish. So this is Dröm, and I'm pretty sure, oh yeah, this is the one I dropped. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. But look at how cute this color is. Oh my god, now I got it all over my... Look at how cute this color is. It is like a very like warm poppy pink. And I'm just gonna do like with my brush. Oh my god, look at that. Like there's literally, yeah, that's my fault. I did that. Definitely my fault. So when I got in contact with IDUN Minerals was before they launched. They found me through some kind of a, oh, that is a beautiful formula. Some kind of a modeling forum or something, because I don't think they booked me through an agency. I'm pretty sure they booked me. I never had a close contract. I was able to work outside of my agency. So they booked me, got in contact directly with me and booked me. And the reason why they booked me is because I had ginger hair at the moment. And they were, IDUN Minerals is of course based on the Norse mythology, the goddess of Idun, which is also the goddess of youth, and her, see the imprints in the eyeshadows, I think you can see are apples, and her symbol is an apple. It's almost like, instead of the apple of sin, it's like the apple of youth. Do without as you may. Maybe Norse mythology has a nicer relationship with apples, but that's how they got in contact with me, because they envisioned Idun as a ginger. So when we took the photos, I remember being so excited because I had just been told, listen, being a model is not all it's cracked up to be. People are very, very rude. And I had just had a photographer tell me, and I remember this photographer was so rude. He kept giving me, he told me that my breasts were not the right shape. He told me that I was not pretty enough to be a makeup model. And he told me all kinds of stuff. And I remember that it kind of stuck with me, because he's like, he told me, you're not pretty enough to be a makeup model. I don't know why I was hanging out with this guy. Again, modeling was weird. He was not a famous photographer. So I remember booking this gig, how happy I was, because I was like, huh, there you go. See, I can do makeup. And I remember having so much fun. And I remember they even booked me for the launch when they were inviting, because you know, people are always complaining, oh my god, influencers, they get so much for free, they get to go to all of these events, they get to go to all these trips. You know who did those events and those free things and got all the PR before creators were here? Magazines. Holy bananas, where they sent on free trips, all kinds of events, free lunches and dinners. They have free makeup coming out of the wazoo. Do not think that this started with creators. It did not. It's just that creators are a little bit more open and honest about it, and they will tell you about the stuff that they get. They will tell you about the stuff that they're experiencing. The people at the magazines, they will not tell you if they got that one for free. They will not. They will just tell you this is the best mascara ever, and you will never know that they went on the press trip for the mascara. You will never know. You will never know. Of course, good journalists will be honest regardless, but such as there are bad influencers, there are bad journalists. But the event was only PR people from magazines and stuff like that, and they booked me as a model for the evening, and I was there to just, greet everybody, and it was just such a fun evening. And I remember feeling so accomplished, because again, I had just had this guy tell me, you're not pretty enough to do makeup modeling. And even though I will say I'm so much better at makeup now than I was then, and I probably am better at like angles and stuff like that as well than I was then, which is crazy because I used to work as a model then, but that's neither here nor there. But I think that I probably would do a better job today than I did then. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, let me put on the powder blush. This is in Rabarber. Some of the products come in this. I think the bronzer comes like this as well, but it is one of these that you're like, it's paper packaging, and you like slide it out. And rabarber means rhubarb in Swedish. So this is the shade Rhubarb Rabarber. I love that it's like Swedish little names. I think this might be a matte one, so maybe we'll Or maybe I won't. Listen, who knows? I'm just going in. This is a blush brush from Lunar Beauty. This is F06, and this is what I love for blush. So I'm just gonna like set this, and I'm gonna do a really blushy look. I actually really like how that cream blush looked. That was incredible. I almost want to see what other shades they have because that formula was really beautiful. I put on a lot of blush because I have been dealing with, I don't even want to call it blush blindness because I am so aware. I am fully aware. It's not blush blindness, it's like blush madness because I am so fully aware that I'm going in with a lot of blush, but I'm so into it right now. I'm loving it. I will probably look back at this in 2 years and be like, what was going on? Okay, what was going on? But I can't lie, I kind of enjoy it. Should we do lip first? And then we'll, okay. Let's do a lip as well. I actually got this one. This is in Margareta. And this lip liner was one of those where I literally looked at the pictures and they were different colors on all the pictures. I like, oh, there's a mosquito. And I was like, I don't know what I'm ordering. So this one is lip liner in Margareta 305. It's a very, very common Swedish name. And I think this one was described as like a muted red. And you know, I love a muted red. I made a lip liner in muted red myself for my own brand. And I was like, oh my God, I'm probably gonna love this. This is a twist up, which sometimes can be too creamy for me. Yeah. This is borderline too creamy for what I like. I think that overly creamy lip liners are hard to be precise. You do it, you get a thicker line than you want to, and it's very hard to get a sheer thin line if you just want to have a little bit of definition. And that's why I like a lip liner that's a little bit drier than this so that you can manipulate it more. But if you like a super emollient lip liner, I mean, this is definitely that. I got one of the cream lipsticks. This one is in Katja, which is also a Swedish name, Katja. And it is, ooh, is that shimmer in it? Maybe. That's a really beautiful color. Again, I don't know what colors I was buying. I was just buying blind, okay? Ooh. Is that shimmer? It's like sheer. I think there's a little sheen to it. Wait, I like that. I like that a lot. And I would like that a lot with a less defined lip line. But that wasn't really an option. But I mean, that still looks good. But I think the thing I like the least so far is the lip liner, but that's just a personal preference. Okay, before we get into eyeshadow, let me just actually quickly show you what I have. This is the quad in Gullviva, which is a flower. I will put the picture of what Gullviva looks like. And this is one of those where you can like put it out. And I think you're supposed to like, does it secure in here? Is there somewhere to secure this? Or is it just loose? I feel like it shouldn't be. Okay, now it's not loose. Okay, I don't know. This is a more neutral quad. I wanted to get something where I could test out the quality. I will say it's much easier to do neutral eyeshadows than it is to do colorful eyeshadows. It is harder to formulate a colorful eyeshadow that is pigmented, buildable, easy to blend, all of those things. It is easier to formulate a neutral eyeshadow, and it is easier to formulate a shimmer than it is to formulate a matte. I don't know why that is. I just know that that's just how the cookie crumbles. I do on my own makeup brand, and we do come up with makeup, but I wanted to try a neutral quad because that way, if it's bad, I'm guessing all the eyeshadows are not for me. But I've heard good things about these, so let me show you. So when the brand launched, this was the PR box that people got, and as you can see, this is baby Angie. Look at me, I am just a baby, and I'm with my ginger hair. And I'm with my natural brows because they wanted to have like as low brows as possible. I feel like this is also shot with a lens that is probably too, again, I'm gonna go in with technical talk here. But if there's something I learned as a model, it is what works for me and what doesn't. And this, I think, is shot with a lens that is probably too close to my face, which is making it seem wider than it is like here. At least I think. Again, this is like more than 15 years later, and I almost think, again, I might be incorrect. And this is the products that they launched with. Oh yeah, here I am again. And these are the products that they launched with: the concealer and foundation, like I said, powder, and then a bronzer and a powder. And yeah, they only had one bronzer shade when they launched. Do with that as you will. It was called Midsummer. And then they had 3 blushes, and they had a bunch of brushes as well. And they also had this little PR box with me on it. And this is the box that people got that went to the event. They got this box, and it has me, and it has one of these like flower crowns, which is something that is very typical Swedish to have on at Midsummers. You celebrate Midsummers, you have a flower crown on. I don't make the rules, okay? I don't make the rules. It just is what it is. But this is what it looked like. And I think the elastic has given up on this because, again, this was not yesterday. And yeah, here I am again. This was the PR box with me, IDUN Minerals. And I still have the paper in here, and then you have the products here. So clearly I've saved a lot of stuff from my modeling career. A lot of things that went into print I have still with me because, of course, it's very near and dear to me. This is something I did from, I think I was like 22 up until... yeah, early 30s. So, put this to the side, about 10 years. And for a shorter amount of time, I did actually work full-time as a shorter amount of time than I worked full-time as a beauty creator, let me put it like that. I did work as a model full-time, I think about 2 years maybe. I did work with an agency, but like I said, I didn't have a tied-in contract, so I was able to do work outside of the agency too. Back in the days, you know, right now, this is not a secret. This is not like I'm letting you know, but I do have, I have done a breast augmentation. But back in the day, I did my surgery when I was like, I think I was 38. And I actually showed the doctor, me modeling in my early 20s. And I said, can we go back in this direction? I would love to not have to wear a bra all the time, because when I didn't wear a bra, my chest area literally hurt. So I showed him a picture of me when I was younger, because back in the day, I got a lot of modeling work because I didn't have surgery and I still was very, very curvy in that area. So that is a reason why I got a lot of work back then. But then also I did book some stuff like this makeup thing. I've done a TV commercial for Burger King. I have recorded a full-length indie movie, which honestly was super fun. I have done commercials for Axe. I've done quite a lot of cool stuff. I've been on the front page of a couple of magazines. I've been in American Playboy. I know. But I don't really talk a lot about that here, but I thought, since I did actually do work for this brand and now it is launched in the US, I thought this could be a good time to, like, you know, at least mention it. I think I'm just gonna start with this lighter brown and then define with the darker one. Again, I feel like mattes is when you know if a brand makes good shadows or not. They're not straight out of the gate crazy pigmented, but I definitely pick up a lot on the brush, which to me is a very good sign that they have some pigment to them. And I think that this, I mean, that's looking really nice. Okay, I switched to a smaller brush and a darker shadow. The darker the shadow, the smaller the brush. This is something that I say a lot. And I think I'm gonna try and keep this look as, like, you know, as like low-key and like everyday appropriate as possible. I say that now. Watch me do something absolutely bananas, but I'm just gonna do a little bit of the darkness out here. Okay. I do see a little skipping here. There is a little bit of a patchiness going on. I can definitely tell that it is a little patchy, which is a shame because I feel like the other shade went on so well, but this dark one, definitely a little bit of skipping on that side. I don't think it's too noticeable, but it definitely is somewhat noticeable. Like, I can see that it is definitely a little bit skipping, like skipperson over this area here, but There's a little bit here too, but not as visible as on the other side. But yeah, definitely a little bit. Okay, don't love that. Don't love it, but it is what it is. I did do a little bit of the light brown on my lower lash line. I might add some of the dark too, but I'll do that in a bit. Ooh, the shimmer is picking up, first of all, a dog hair, but it's picking up very creamy. I think you can even see in the pan how like creamy that picked up. That is very impressive. I definitely have something on my lip. I just smushed that fiber in. I don't think I'm gonna have to spray this because that was creamy. Oh, actually I do, because I got fallout when I didn't spray it. That happens to, I was gonna say the best of us, but quite honestly, I'm just using whatever spray I have next to me. I just spritz a little bit and then I put it on to prevent fallout. It's more of a lighter, it's like more than a satin, but not full on a metallic. But I actually do really like shades like this because I feel like they're very pretty, especially if you, like me, don't have super smooth lids anymore. I mean, again, I'm 42. My lids are definitely not what they were, again, 15 years ago. But I definitely really enjoy how this one looks on. I think that this looks really pretty. It just looks smoothing. I don't hate that at all. I kind of like how that looks. So with an EO7, which is very detailed, I'm just gonna put on a little bit more of the dark brown, and I'm gonna really not blend it out, but just put it in almost like a faux liner over here. And also I feel like that will help with a little bit of the patchiness. And then I'll do a little bit under my eye too. I did not buy an eye pen, so I think I will just use like a brown one. I will use a little bit of the light shimmer too. This one did not pick up as creamy as the other one, and I'm just gonna put a little bit next to, like here. Ooh, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying. I mean, the dark one wasn't perfect, but overall, I'm not mad at the performance. It's kind of nice. So I did put a little brown in my waterline. This is the new Cupid's Arrow by Nabla. It is in ganache. It's just a brown one. I did put on the Whimsicott lashes by Cinch Beauty. Again, my own beauty brand, and this is the lash that I have on. I feel like these are the perfect, like, doll-eyed, a little bit more like, yeah, whimsy. If you want to have something that's like, you want to have a false lash, you want to have an extra bit of like definition, but you don't want it to be too dramatic or too big, or you don't want it to totally take over and be too obvious. I love these for that. And I did do a little bit of matte, just bone colored in my inner corner with the Huldra palette that just launched, just complementing the look a bit. I think overall I'm very impressed with all of it. My favorite is the cream blush. I think the cream blush is quite honestly a fantastic formulation. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. It even has a little bit of a glow to it, even though it's fully dried down. I don't know if it's like the powder blush has a little bit of a sheen to it too. I don't know. Overall, the blush products, they look incredible. The foundation looks really good too. The concealer is great too, but I don't love the packaging like that. I will still use it. It hasn't creased. It looks really beautiful. I feel like it has more of a medium coverage, which is something that I love with the concealer. I actually don't love when the concealer is, I feel like a medium coverage is just more believable, like out and about. I wear my makeup out and about. I don't do my makeup for the gram, for YouTube. I do my makeup and then I wear it. And I think the foundation, the concealer, I've never tried any of the IDUN Minerals. I never tried any of their liquid complexion products. Incredible. The blushes, incredible. I love the lipstick. Super comfortable, looks great. The lip liner, not my favorite. It's a little bit too emollient to be perfect for me. And the quad is decent. Not my favorite. I think it looks really nice, but I also feel like the brown, like the dark brown, wasn't perfect, and I definitely could have done an equal look with something that I already had. Had this been like incredible quality, I might have thought differently. I thought they were pretty good. It might have just been the brown because I didn't have any problems with the other three, so it might just have been that brown one. But I used the same brush and the same primer and the same technique that I always do with all other eyeshadows, so it was definitely the shadow that was a little not jiving the best. So let me know your thoughts down below. I think I'm having a really good makeup day. I'm gonna go and hang out with my husband for a bit. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you enjoyed this like slight story time, like the life I had before I went on YouTube. I don't know if you want to see more, because now that I have my stuff from Sweden, I definitely have more memorabilia as well, but I also don't know if I want to share too much about that life. You're gonna have to let me know what you think. I definitely could if you wanted to, but I have to think about how to do it and still protect not just my personal life, but also like protect like other people that I used to work with, because we had a ball. I had a great time for sure, but there's definitely been, you know, some things that have been going on that isn't always the best. Let me know if you want to hear more about that. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I think that next week I will have at least one video. I'm pre-filming this one a little bit, and I haven't done fully like what I want to do, but I am heading on vacation for a week and a half with my mom and my best friend in mid-June. So there will definitely, I'm gonna take a vacation. I'm not gonna stress myself and pre-film for something that is supposed to be a fun time. So if I can pre-film something, I will. So if there is a video next week, que sera, whatever will be. That's what I want to say. Check the description box for more info if you want to see where to find these products, and I will see you when I see you.